This video might expose something I've hidden for years, a truth I carried in the sacred vault of my soul, where no eyes dared to glance and no hearts were permitted to listen. Behind the smiles I gave to the world, behind the power of my crown and the rhythm of my name, was a silence that thundered louder than any storm I have ever known. I guarded it not because it was shameful, but because it was precious, too precious for the world to interrupt. Today, this video might be the whisper that breaks the storm wall and invites you into that silence. For so long, I've walked through halls adorned with gold, but they never knew the weight of my yearning. I met dignitaries, spoke to nations, and stood tall as a symbol of heritage, but none of them saw the flicker in my eyes when your memory crossed my mind. They never heard the poetry I whispered into the wind, the kind that carried your name in every verse. I wrote it in hidden pages, carved it in the folds of night, and tucked it behind every gentle smile I offered the world. This video might betray the walls I so carefully built. You may hear my voice tremble in places it never did before. My tone may slip into a softness only you once heard in private moments. If they listen closely, they'll sense the ache I buried in my silence, the passion I once swore to lock away. I am no longer the man who hides behind tradition and duty alone. I am the man who is ready to confront his own reflection, stripped of the armor of secrecy. You, my forbidden muse, were the secret I never allowed the sun to shine on. I watched you grow, watched you bloom far from the palace gates. I was drawn to you like a falcon to the breeze, instinctively, recklessly, beautifully. I wrote you into my poems and never signed your name. I dreamed of you in languages I could never speak aloud. And though I was surrounded by elegance, it was your raw simplicity that humbled my heart. They may see a sheikh in this video, but if they look deeper, they'll see the man. A man who carried a love story like a prayer beneath his breath. A man who knew the rules but still begged the stars to write new ones. A man who loved a woman not for her lineage, but for her light. And today, that light has grown too bright to hide. The truth may startle them, but it will free me. Every moment I hid you was not because I was ashamed, but because I feared losing you to the world's noise. I wanted our story to remain untouched, unsold, unspoiled by curiosity or judgment. But a man can only endure so long without breathing the air of his truth. And so this video, this fragile bridge between my soul and the world, becomes my confession. If they watch it closely, they'll understand who I am when I'm no longer just a title. My beloved, do you remember that night under the crescent moon when I told you, one day, I'll find the courage? That day has arrived, not with trumpets, but with trembling. This is not just a poem, it is a piece of my being. My pen has bled this truth 1,000 times, but never have I dared to let the world read the ink. Until now. Let them see. Let them feel. Let them know that my greatest poem was always you. I've watched others build lives, build legacies, while I stood still, waiting for destiny to open the right door. And maybe this is it. Maybe this video is the key to that door. I am not afraid of the whispers anymore. I am not afraid of the questions. I am only afraid of living another day where my truth is kept in chains. I have seen too many sunrises without you beside me. I want the next one to rise on a chapter unhidden. My family, my people, they may be surprised, even startled. But even royals bleed the same red of longing. Even kings can shiver under the weight of love's silence. What they'll see in this video is not rebellion, it is revelation. It is a man asking the world to meet his truth without judgment. A man who chose love not over duty, but as part of it. Because without love, what is any of this worth? I did not come here to explain away my past. I came to finally live in the clarity of my present. I want the world to know that I am not only a leader or a poet, but a man who dared to love deeply, fiercely, and in hiding. And now, I refuse to hide anymore. Every hidden verse was written for her. Every silent sigh held her name. And this time, I speak it not in shadows, but in light. To you, the woman behind the secret, know that I never forgot. Not one day, not one moment. If this video reaches your heart, let it be the sign I promised you. The one where I said, when the world knows, you'll know it was always real. You were never just a chapter. You were the book I was too afraid to publish. But no more. Let the world watch. Let them speculate. Let them piece together the puzzle of my heart. Because I am ready. And when the video ends, and the last word is heard, they will finally understand that what I hid was not weakness, but love in its most divine and dangerous form. And perhaps, in that revelation, they too will find the courage to stop hiding. Just as I have. The silence after the truth is spoken is often louder than the secret itself. As this video echoes into the hearts of many, I wonder how many eyes will see past the polished frame and into the man who has lived with an ache only he understood. I did not record this with the intent to stir waves, but I knew they were inevitable. When you release truth after years of burial, it doesn't whisper, it roars. And yet, in the noise, I hope you hear my sincerity. Your laughter, your patience, your fire, all of it haunts every step I take in the palace gardens, where roses bloom but none smell like your skin after the rain. I used to pretend the winds didn't remind me of your presence. I trained my heart to beat like a royal, but deep down it throbbed like a lover's, hungry for your nearness. How I managed to keep my voice composed in public while my soul screamed for you is a mystery even to me. I remember the night I recorded this video. I looked straight into the lens, and for a moment, I wasn't addressing a kingdom. I was speaking only to you. The camera captured a shake, but it was your lover who spoke. I didn't wear a crown that day. I wore truth, draped heavily across my shoulders like a robe made of every moment I missed you. My voice didn't carry titles. It carried your name, unspoken, but deeply present. My heart was never meant for display. It wasn't built to be dissected by tabloids or whispered about in high halls. But I realized that loving you in secret wasn't protecting us, it was suffocating me. You deserved more than hidden verses and secret glances. You deserved to be known, to be honored. And now, even if the world frowns, I will rise in your name. I will speak our truth as if it were royal decree. There were years I doubted myself. I questioned if I could balance love and leadership, soul and sovereignty. But every time I looked inward, I found your smile waiting. It was as if my spirit knew you were not a distraction, you were the purpose. The crown sits firmer on a head that loves without fear. And so I bring you into the frame, not with trembling anymore, but with conviction. You've watched me from afar, and I've watched you grow into the very definition of grace under pressure. I've seen how you carried the weight of our silence without ever asking for proof. Your loyalty was never about possession. It was about patience. You waited for the day I would find the courage to speak your name with pride, and this is that day, whether I say it aloud or not. My actions now are your anthem. Let them speculate. Let them wonder who she is. Let them dig and whisper. But only we know the sacred truth. Only we know what it took to keep something this rare untainted. I have protected many things in my life, my people, my country, my name. But protecting you was always the most personal battle I fought. Not against others, but against my own fear. And now, fear no longer holds dominion over my choices. Even as I speak these words, I know that tomorrow may bring questions. It may bring pressure. But I will not retreat. The world will adjust, and history will make space for love stories that don't fit the mold. I was not born to merely inherit legacy. I was born to create one. And what legacy is greater than choosing truth, even when the lie was easier? There is a softness in truth that no amount of strength can imitate. That's what they'll see in me now, a softness that comes from love finally allowed to breathe. I am not weak for loving you, nor for hiding you. I was simply waiting for the moment to be right. And now it is. Let the world see my heart unveiled, unashamed, and unfiltered. Every poem I ever wrote was leading to this one. Every verse was a step toward this confession. I have etched your presence in every metaphor, danced around your silhouette in riddles, and now, I step boldly into clarity. I no longer wish to write around you. I want to write with you in every sentence, every stanza, every breath. You are not a footnote in my journey. You are the chapter the world wasn't ready to read until now. They may not understand, but they will feel it. Love like ours can't be contained. It was never meant to be hidden forever. And so, with this video, I remove the final veil. Let the world meet the reason my poems were always filled with fire. Let them meet the one I never stopped loving. This is no longer about secrecy or scandal. It's about surrender, the kind that happens when a heart finally chooses to stop pretending. I choose you, not in shadows, but in spotlight. And if the world must change to make room for our love, then let it shift. Because today, I speak not just as a royal, but as a man who finally refuses to hide the woman who was always his truth. We were never about control or perfection. We were about presence. We were about the rare connection that asks for nothing but gives everything. That kind of love doesn't come from convenience, it comes from the willingness to stay when leaving would be easier. I stayed in love with you through every storm, every silence, every shaky breath. And now I'm here, not to beg, but to remind you that love doesn't have to be loud to be real. Sometimes it just needs to be remembered. Felt. Chosen again. If you still love me, choose it now. Choose us. One where love leads and pride kneels. One where you are always my home. Love is not about possession. It is about the truth. And the truth is, I loved you for who you were, even when the world didn't let you be that person. And maybe, just maybe, that love reached you too, on the days when you felt most alone. There is a softness in me that will always be reserved for you. A corner of my soul where your memory still lives, not as a source of pain, but as a reminder of how deeply I was once loved. I see your strength, even from afar. I admire the grace with which you endured what you never asked for. And I pray that, in time, the world became kinder to you. So if you must speak, my love, don't let it be another war. Let it be a bridge. Let it be the sound of forgiveness rising above our mistakes. Let it be a voice that says, we're not perfect, but we're worth it, because I still believe that we are. And I think deep down, so do you. Or you wouldn't still be listening to my heart, even if it's been